In the American Southwest, a 3-month-old coyote pup gets some much-needed practice in the art of the chase and the kill. As in the sea, predator and prey are well matched. In a contest between the two, neither is guaranteed of success. Even as grown-ups, the coyotes will be lucky if 1 hunt in 6 succeeds. A horned lizard freezes, banking on its camouflage to confuse the predator. As long as it remains motionless, the lizard has a chance to survive. But the young hunters have learned to trust their noses. The deadly game is played in countless ways, but nowhere with more drama than on the sprawling Serengeti Plain, the wild heartland of East Africa. In a setting that has changed little since the last ice age, herds of grazers, millions strong, sweep the plains in a restless quest for fresh, green grass. As producers of protein, the herds must always be on guard against the lean and hungry hunters who depend on their flesh for survival. A pack of wild dogs has targeted a young impala. Their speed and teamwork enable wild dogs to catch what they pursue about 85% of the time. But the dogs are merely links in the food chain, helping to recycle the energy their prey obtained by grazing on the land. Everything is consumed. Nothing goes to waste. Scavengers like the spotted hyena and the majestic Rupel's vulture live off the remaining bone, skin, and scraps of flesh. The silverback jackals are hunters in their own right and fierce competitors, even among themselves. As in all of nature, selection favors the dominant individuals who can acquire the scarce resources needed to produce a new generation. Here, the need for water drives the deadly game. The Nile crocodile and the wildebeest are players in an age-old ritual, adversaries in a battle for survival that has raged for millions of years. The herds charge across rivers in their relentless quest to find fresh pastures, but for some, the quest is cut short. The Nile crocodile kills by clamping its jaws into its victim and forcing it down until it drowns. But only one wildebeest out of thousands succumbs to the crocodile's deadly tactic. Through countless generations, animals have refined their skills of slaughter and evasion, camouflage and pursuit. Over the millennia, predator and prey have become ever more successful, but neither tends to hold the upper hand for very long. And still today, across the world, their ancient game goes on. No region on Earth is more thronged with life than the vast Amazon basin. Though this world may seem serene, deadly struggles rage beneath its surface. Growing up to 120 pounds and 4 feet long, the capybara is the world's largest rodent. Here, an adult grazes in the lily beds that crowd the river's edge. It does so at its peril, for beneath the tranquil water, a legendary killer waits. The capybara risks its life in the world of the red piranha. Though the piranha normally preys on fish, a school in a feeding frenzy can dismember a horse and reduce it to bones in minutes. While many mammals feed on fish, the capybara has fallen prey to one of the few species of fish that occasionally feast on mammals. The razor-sharp teeth of these voracious predators make quick work of the hapless capybara. Growing to more than a foot and weighing up to 10 pounds, the piranhas are awesome killers, even if attacks such as this are rare. Predator and prey dance their grim duet in endless variations, from the steamy forests to the sluggish streams that snake through the Amazon basin. These silt-rich waters are home to more than 2,000 species of fish, a large menu for a host of hunters. The neotropical river otter is an avid fish eater and lives in the perfect place to indulge its tremendous hunger. Surrounded by a seemingly limitless food supply, it may capture and kill more than 2 pounds of fish in a day. When catching fish, the otter's jaws and paws perform equally important tasks. Like most predators, the otter kills only as much as it can eat. Though the coati-mundi is much less skilled at catching fish, to the otter it is competition. Ants can be fearsome predators. What they lack in size, they make up for in numbers. In the Amazon rainforest, a battalion of army ants raids the nest of another, more docile ant species, bearing away the eggs of its rivals to feed its own young. The army ants' marching columns, sometimes more than 1 million strong, terrorize the small creatures of the forest floor. An unlucky katydid has succumbed to the horde and will quickly be devoured. The tyra is another hunter whose size belies its ferocity. Its dagger-like claws and sensitive nose are the tools of an expert snake killer. The bushmaster, a tropical relative of the rattlesnake, is one of the most venomous serpents in the world. Its tongue tests the air for danger, but danger has already arrived. A South American cousin of the weasel, the tyra specializes in deadly snakes. Like all good snake hunters, it must be swift and agile to stay clear of the snake's jaws. As a predator, the tyra helps to control the snake population, just as the snake controls the population of its prey. But feeding on poisonous snakes has a price. The bushmaster's venom causes the tyra to froth at the mouth. Amazingly, it is resistant to the poison and will survive to hunt again. In the deadly game, not all the players are animals. Carnivorous plants, like the pitcher plant, dine on the flesh of insects that drown in the viscous syrup that collects in the pit of their deep, flowery bowls. The sandu is another seductive killer, snaring its prey with tentacles tipped with one of nature's stickiest substances. By far the most numerous life form on the planet, insects are vital food for a vast range of predators, including the horned lizard, nearly invisible against the sand. A monster in the world of insects, the lizard feasts on protein-rich ants, using its sticky tongue to nab the unwary. Another sticky-tongued hunter goes for larger prey. The beetle may satisfy this toad's hunger for more than a day. As in the sea, where predation began, camouflage is an essential part of the art of hunting on land. A pair of toads sit in a freshwater pond, barely visible to predators or prey. While a katydid, disguised as a leaf, sweeps the air with its antennae, searching for signs of peril. To many tiny bugs, the praying mantis appears to be just some twigs and a leaf. Insects are among the lowest links in the food chain, so they disguise themselves in more ways than any other creatures. A giant tropical moth, when not in motion, disappears against the trunk of a tree. And a butterfly wards off predators with markings that resemble the eyes of an owl. The unearthly roars that fill the tropical forest may be another form of mimicry. These are the howls of the howler monkey, a species whose vocal skills have been compared to a chorus of jaguars roaring in unison. Despite appearances, howlers are usually gentle. They roar simply to keep intruders out of their territories. Howlers are vegetarians, but most other monkeys will eat anything they can find. A saddlebacked tamarin searches for insects. And a tufted capuchin gnaws on a shoot while watching for something bigger. The pygmy marmoset, the world's smallest monkey, is only 5 inches long, and to it, a grasshopper is a feast. The tiny monkey supplements its diet of leaves, plant gums, and fruit with any insects it is able to catch. The elusive golden lion tamarin is one of the world's most endangered animals, though in the lush Brazilian forests where it lives, food is rarely hard to find. The little monkey's dexterous fingers are ideal for extracting caterpillars from the boles of the bromeliads where they hide. Larger monkeys prey on frogs. The buffy-headed marmoset has found its dinner. Predation is a way of life among the little primates to whom a frog is a valued prize, a prize that can ignite jealous anger. Some have seen the roots of human warfare in the contest over food. But vengeance plays no part in animal society, and most squabbles are resolved without injury. In the end, it is the most proficient who prevail, the ones who play the deadly game best. The wintry reaches of the northern Rocky Mountains pose extreme challenges for predators and prey alike. In late fall, great herds of elk gather in the mountain valleys to graze and take part in the rut. Two bulls lock antlers in a duel over a female. Only the winners of such contests will sire offspring and pass their genes to the next generation. The object is not to kill, but simply to be acknowledged as the victor. In this icy world, weather is the cruelest killer. In a particularly bitter winter, more than half of the bison and elk may starve. But for scavengers like the coyote, the cold means abundant food. The coyotes are cunning scavengers, and their ability to switch from a diet of game that they kill themselves to a menu of winter-killed carrion is a major reason for their reputation as superb survivors. When meat is scarce, members of rival packs compete aggressively. But coyotes resolve disputes with posturing and threats, rarely with bloodshed. A young female, seeking a place at the table, signals her submission to the others by allowing herself to be mounted and pinned down in the snow. As the ritual requires, she plays dead, hoping to persuade the others that she is no threat. Then, tiring of the game, she asserts her right to join in the feast. Though generally content to be alone, winter makes the coyotes sociable. Strangers come from miles away, lured by the promise of a meal. After dining, the coyotes clean their muzzles in the snow, carefully wiping away the strong scent of blood so their sensitive noses can go back to work, tracking fresh game. The black-billed magpie is another highly adaptable hunter that relies on carrion in winter. In warmer weather, it preys on insects and rodents, but when prey is scarce, it fares better as a camp follower of the coyotes. As it weeds out the weak, winter rewards the resourceful. The death of one brings life to many. And through time, the design of each species is refined by the web of interactions between them. The young female, assuming her submissive role, approaches a fresh carcass and once again submits to the ritual initiation. The scavengers feed until the last scrap is consumed, and the energy that was once stored in the tissues of the prey is transformed into fuel so that others may survive. But the frozen desert of the Arctic is an even more difficult place to survive. This is the realm of the polar bear, the biggest land predator on the planet. Suction cups on the soles of the bear's feet equip it for life on the ice, where the bears rear their young and search for fresh meat. Along the shore, grasses exposed by the wind provide meager food before the bears resume their winter hunt for seals. Twin cubs were born to this female 10 months ago, at the height of the previous winter. Now they accompany her as she searches for food, relying on her for training and protection. Since a male bear may kill the cubs, she must constantly sniff the air for signs of danger. In the mating season, the big males battle ferociously over females and sometimes lose their lives. Weighing up to a ton and reaching a height of 12 feet, polar bears make formidable opponents. A single blow from their sledgehammer paws could leave a foe unconscious. These bears, however, are not playing for keeps. They are fighting to stay in practice while they wait for the seal hunt to begin. During this restless time, the great bears fast, relying on vast stores of fat from the last hunting season. These play fights are draining, and by the end of autumn, the bears will be famished and surly. Many bears carry deep scars from these battles as they begin their trek to the hunting grounds. On the drifting sea of ice, bears find their favorite prey and face their toughest test. The Arctic fox knows the polar bear's habits, and over the millennia, it has learned to track the bears and pick up any scraps they leave behind. With its short muzzle, tiny ears, and dense fur coat, the little fox is well equipped for the cold. It only begins to shiver when the temperature reaches 80 degrees below zero. The fox's fur-soled feet provide traction on the ice and protect it from the cold as it searches for a meal. But the biting wind bedevils the fox and the bear alike. In this frozen waste, the bear tolerates the fox so long as it keeps its distance. The two go their separate ways, searching for a meal despite some of the toughest odds near the top of the world. When the hunting is poor, as it often is, the great bear makes a daybed in the snow to doze and, perhaps, daydream about seals. In a forest, far from the Arctic ice, a close kin of humankind clings precariously near the brink of extinction. The great red ape known as the orangutan. Confined to the islands of Borneo and Sumatra, the orangutans are in many ways mirrors of ourselves. The great apes mostly eat fruit and leaves, but somewhere in the distant past, our ancestors took a different path, hunting other animals as well. Scientists used to think that chimpanzees were exclusively vegetarian. But a closer look has revealed that they also eat meat, relying on animal prey for as much as 5% of their diet. Their powerful teeth, which crack the tough shells of nuts and fruit, are also used for tearing flesh. Above all, chimps are opportunists who will eat almost any food available. Fruit is the mainstay of their diet, but fresh meat is greatly prized, and chimps have been known to kill and devour infant chimps from rival groups, even when other foods are plentiful. While the cause of cannibalism among the chimps remains unknown, their kind has gained a grim reputation for brutal acts of predation. In some parts of their range, hunting parties of adult male chimps stalk and kill the smaller monkeys who share their forest home. Herded into an ambush by the hunters, the monkeys flee for their lives. With a party of males on the prowl, a cautious mother moves her infants to safety. Chimps are renowned as problem solvers, and they use more tools than any animals except humans. Many of these tools are for predation. Chimps have invented an ingenious method of capturing termites, which are rich in protein. With a stick moistened with saliva, a chimp fishes for the insects, pulling them out of their nest one at a time. The chimp's remarkable hunting skills are not innate. They are handed down through generations, as each new infant learns from its mother the techniques that she has learned from hers. From here, it's a relatively small step to humankind. A predator prowls the tropical forest, armed with a hunting tool more sophisticated, but no less deadly than that used by the chimps. The curassow will be dinner for this hunter's family. His dart's tip bears a poison extracted from a forest frog. The hunter's skill is rewarded. But much of mankind, in its long march from mere survival to what we call civilization, has followed a different path. The lone hunter has given way to a more deadly competitor, the paid assassin who prowls the wild, killing for cash. The poacher has replaced the subsistence hunter and upset the ancient balance between predator and prey. Man, the predator, has arrogantly rewritten the rules in his favor. Though it may seem brutal to our eyes, predation in the natural world balances out, so neither the hunter nor the hunted gain the ultimate advantage. These timeless dramas of survival unfold all around us, every moment of every day. There is a balance here.